Good morning, RMS Colby College, University of Texas, and Ms. Lutz's class. I'm Ms. Studer out here with your Red Fox Report. It's kind of cold today. In fact, it's like freezing out here. I'm all bundled up. I've come down here by Heath Brook to show you one of the coolest plants we have around here. It's a medicinal shrub, and it's called witch hazel. Witch as in, I'll get you my pretty, and hazel as in hazel eyes, or hey Hazel. So witch hazel. Now witch hazel is really easy to identify this time of year because it's one of the only trees that has like this little flower on it. Do you see that little yellow flower? You see that little yellow flower? That's actually the remnants of last year's flower, and all the strange petals have fallen off, and this will now be the fruit for next year. Witch hazel is a really interesting plant. Its Latin name is actually a Greek name, Hamamecia or Hamamesis virginiensis. So the Hamamesis means fruit together. So in the fall, this will have both flowers and fruit on it, and that doesn't happen very often with plants, so that makes it kind of special. And in the winter you can really tell it because it's the only one with these little yellow flowers. Now witch hazel has a lot of really interesting uses. So first of all, its name witch hazel doesn't actually come from the word witch like we think of it. It actually comes from an old Saxon word for water, because people use witch hazel to douse for water. Dowsing is this ancient art form where you use certain kinds of wood and above ground, and a dowser can feel through the wood where the water is. Very old practice. I've seen people do it, so I can't say it's bunk, because I've seen people do it and then they dig a well and wow, there's water there. The other thing, though, is that witch hazel is used even today as a medicinal plant. Now, I know some of you guys think that, like, I really know what I'm doing out here, but I gotta tell you, I don't know much about medicinal plants, so I'm really happy for modern medicine. But this particular medicinal plant is really helpful. You can use the inner bark and the leaves, and you boil them down into like a decoction, and then you put it on topically. It's used as a wash. It helps with rashes and acne, and helps clean out burns. There's some antiseptic properties to it, but mostly it soothes that burn. So it has some soothing qualities to it. You don't take it internally. You don't drink it or eat it. Some people say you can use a little bit, but boy, when somebody says you can use a little bit but don't use too much, I kind of keep away from that. What's interesting to me is that this plant has stood the test of time. You can go into a pharmacy today and you can find products that are made with witch hazel in them, particularly for acne and rashes and burns that like are rash type burns. I have used this. I've made decoctions of it, used it on poison ivy. I get poison ivy wicked bad, didn't do anything for it. But I've also used it on like lighter rashes that I get from like, if I pick berries, I get a rash from the leaves of the berry plants like raspberries and blackberries, and I'll put some witch hazel water over it. Oh, it just takes care of it right away. So it's good for small stuff like that. It's got the weirdest flower. And then I'm going to leave you with a thought, because its seed distribution strategy isn't like anything else. It literally pops its seeds out. They are projectile popped out of that fruit. Up to 30 feet. That's amazing for a seed distribution. Really? That's amazing to me. That's just amazing. So, witch hazel. It's a pretty neat thing. Look at this. This is so cool. So I've been looking at this plant, trying to find one. And I just lost it. I just had it in my eye. Here it is. Just had it in my eye. So, and here See this weird little pod on the end of this? So that's an aphid gall that grows on this witch hazel only. So that's an aphid that only grows on this witch hazel. Kind of amazing. So anyway, that's it for your Red Fox Report. I'm Ms. Studer. Have a great day.